Son las 12:44 y abrimos la junta. ¿Tengo que decir los nombres de los que están presentes o qué es lo que tengo que decir?
There's a list right there of
Es como roll call.
Cindy Cantú, no está.
No, she's on.
Luz Infante,
Present.
David García,
Present.
Mary Bender,
Present.
Angie Ancira, Sandra,
She advised us she wasn't going to be able, so she asked for an excuse.
okay, Sandra Solís,
Present.
Mónica I. Martínez, Gilbert González
Sí.
y Cindy Ruiz. Present.
¿Y luego?
The director, Manuel González.
Sí, hay comentarios de los ciudadanos. Citizen comments.
Y el nombre, dilo tú, no dice. Es mi primera vez. Me dejan sola.
Ahí va.
No?
No.
No
citizen
comments.
Okay. Which we are going to proceed to the
Approval of the minutes.
approval of the minutes.
Second.
Who's the first?
Oh,
Who's going to do the motion for, Ms. Solis?
Yes, I'll move on the minutes.
yeah, second.
All in favor?
Yes.
I'm in
Aye.
favor. Aye.
And then we had wanted to introduce you all to the new veterinarian that was approved by the city council at the last meeting. He'd already been working on a contract basis just to get us through the period when Dr. Leindecker resigned, Dr. Lopez. And now we'd like to have him added to the committee because he does have a space. He does have a chair in the committee. And so I guess we need to let you all know Dr. Lopez will be our shelter manager. We have entered into a one-year contract with the doctor with an option to extend 2 more years. And up to now, we're very happy with the relationship that we have with him and the work that he's doing at the shelter.
Shelter veterinarian.
Veterinarian, yes. What did I say? I think I missed.
Manager.
Manager. Sorry.
No. Yeah, he wasn't able to come because he's practicing surgeries as we speak today. So he has to be excused. Hopefully next meeting we'll have him here. If we'd like to go to the second new business, it's a discussion of possible action regarding nominating for a committee chair. But as of now, I guess they want to kind of redo the board's officers, so.
I think we need to have a chair to run all future meetings until you all choose to change the structure. But the structure as it stands today has a chair. And so, Ms. Reeves, does anybody want to nominate another individual from the committee to be the chair? Or self-nominate?
Thank you.
I'll do it.
Yay, that's our chair.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay, so there's a motion, is there a motion to?
I'll motion that for
Second.
David Garcia.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, y'all can vote and then you can take
All
over.
right, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No discussion.
Discussion. No discussion,
Before the vote, no. And, yeah, I mentioned to the members that were here earlier that I have the docket I have to start at 1:30, so
Oh, okay.
I'll be cutting out. I'll extend it a little bit, but.
Yeah, as soon as you step out, then we don't need quorum, so then the meeting will adjourn at that point.
And I need a copy of the minutes then?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So we can kind of.
Copy it.
Rush into the,
Well, hopefully we can cover it.
yeah, we could cover everything that has to be done. So, new item, letter C is discussion possible action regarding euthanasia deadline for animal at risk. Ms. Bender you brought this item up.
I
For this
did.
new business, yes.
I don't remember, but now, yeah. Only that we ask for more than a couple of days. Because we are able to move them, to get them a rescue, but it's very difficult to work on 10, 12 dogs when the list comes out on Friday afternoon and the deadline is Monday. That gives us very little time to work. I'm referring to the one, this was in January, I think the 22nd was the deadline. That's the second one. The list prior to that, I think there was maybe 2 dogs that were supposed to be pulled and returned or adopted, the adoption was dropped and we weren't able to work on them because they were supposedly adopted. But we got the majority of the dogs out, and as a matter of fact, I drove a transport for the majority of those dogs. So we just want a little bit more than technically a 24-hour period to work on the dogs.
Okay, we have 15 days grace for each animal before the euthanasia. We have 18. The first 3 days is gonna be for the 72 hours is gonna be for give a chance to the owner to claim
Right.
his dog. After that, we have 15 days more, so you can work with the animals.
Okay, but
So
you
it's
put out
18
an
days.
urgent list. You put out an urgent
It was
list.
a post that we did for, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
It was a post that we did for, animals at risk, and I know that, but they've been there since, they were there for months, to be honest with you, and they were all photographed as well. So, I mean, I know that they were, I think most of them were even been there since June, I mean,
Yeah, and
June,
we had
August.
never seen those dogs.
they've had.
A lot of people the rescues had not seen those dogs. So, and again, we also need good pictures of the dogs. Somebody that offers dogs to other rescues, a good picture, will move the dog like that.
So-
Like that. So some of the pictures that are taken upon,
Arrival.
are not very good. You know, they're holding them like this, you can't see the body, you see a big head. It's just, the proportions aren't accurate. And Aaron last week read a note from Jackie that works very hard with many rescues,
Yes.
and you know, to move these dogs. I know that the shelter is understaffed and they have a lot going on. I get it. And we can't always get temperament checks. We can't always get videos. And it has been something that has gone on since I started working with the shelter in rescue. A lot of the puppies don't get seen. They're stuck in the back and nobody sees them. So then when you try to move them, they're 6 months old. It's a lot harder to move a puppy that's 6 months old than one that's 2 months old, because the cuteness factor is going away. So, we're trying to work with what you're giving us. And it's not fair to ask you to give us more, because I know you are facing difficulties because you have a lot of dogs there. I just, if you're gonna put an at-risk or an urgent list, like those 2 past ones that were done, give us more than a 24-hour period to move it.
Yeah, there's always.
How much time would you think it'll be, like, that a week, 5 days? I mean, we these dogs have been in the shelter for months, so we kinda can't give them more than, we're trying to, get them out and rescue or adoptions, because some of them did get adopted after that outreach that we did for urgent care, because we do have the R sections are the ones that are, most of them were from the Rs.
R
And we were trying to remove, try to take those out because they're already growing. They started as small
Yes.
puppies and they grew. So that was the trying to move those dogs out. They did have individual pictures they obviously grow within, especially puppies within, days, and sometimes from one day to the next are already a little larger, but we just wanna see how much time would you like, or would you think it's prudent for us?
I think, well, like I said, giving us more than a 24-hour period, I would say if we could get maybe 5 days, we can do, we raised money and we gave pledges on a lot of those puppies. We were giving rescues $100 to go with that puppy, to help with the vetting. So we are doing above and beyond just offering these dogs to other rescues. And we publish it on our page as well. And we have a lot of followers from out of town, and we have a lot of other rescues that are not working directly with the shelter. So we are working really hard, and we're trying to help, but we need a little bit of help in return.
You're asking for 5 days in addition to the 18 that he's referring to?
Well, they publish an urgent list. It depends on when that list is published.
Yeah, it's
We
good.
can do it earlier than but within the 18.
Yeah,
That-
those
that would be
were,
better.
those
I mean,
were animals that
along
were
those lines,
prior.
if, let's say there's a possibility they're gonna get adopted, or is there a way for you all just to tag them, and if they go past the 18 days, you give them that grace period that you're
There is
asking for?
I'm thinking, there is a way on your software where you can actually do like a section of dogs that they're gonna go already for at risk.
Mhm.
So, and you can even publish connected to your website, so the rescues can see that. I think that would be a good option, that you can program, you can work with your software, and you can do it that way too.
Yeah, I think.
Like
that
we
would-
have like our long stays, like
Okay.
you can do it like at risk.
At risk, okay, yeah, maybe we'll add a tab,
Yeah.
because we already have the adoptable animals or the available animals or
And you can
lost.
put at risk.
So maybe we could add another tab for at risk.
And I think and that, even if you don't have pictures of, updated pictures, but maybe you can get a volunteer to help you take pictures and upload those pictures, so,
No.
and that would help a lot.
Good pictures, right?
Good pictures, yeah. It's true. The picture will move the dog, the cat.
So when we get
Yeah.
And I think you can do it through attributes, or like even location with your software, like with PetPoint, and you can
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll
like
look
that.
into that, thank you so much.
okay, next item, right?
All right.
You wanna go next item?
May I interrupt?
Yes, of course.
Can we, I know that this is in the old business, but before Mr. Garcia leaves, I think we need to approve the committee bylaws. We don't have a set of,
I don't think they've been reviewed properly.
You all were gonna come
They-
up
they
with
were-
those subcommittees, right?
Yeah,
I believe
that
so.
wasn't done,
And
Yeah.
that hasn't happened.
so.
Yeah.
so,
Well,
yeah.
I emailed the bylaws that are ready to be approved. I mean, they were just subject to if you all had recommendations, but
No.
if you wanna, did you not receive them, Judge?
No, and actually, I didn't get an email
You-
regarding today's meeting either.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got a phone call. I put my mom's number, she called.
Yes, I
We
spoke
can't
to
approve
her.
Yeah, she's like,
She was very nice.
and I was like, oh, I don't know why they, well, and I remember, we don't have a landline anymore, so I
I
just
guess
put
we're
my
gonna
mom's
start
number.
over again.
Oh,
We're missing a lot of
yeah.
time.
No worries, I didn't have the list.
No, but I knew it was
I was
coming
saying
up.
because
Okay, no,
that
yeah,
way-
we could, I think that a lot of the emails that I have sent did bounce back, that's why I called. Because I had, and it's the system of the city, sometimes it doesn't recognize.
Yeah,
anything else.
maybe if we could hook up on a hard copy, the county has some pretty hard firewalls and they don't recognize, a lot of stuff gets bounced.
Right, well, I
And I don't
think
even know that it,
we can bring a hard copy of the next meeting to distribute to everyone. I wish I would've known, I would've brought it today, but we can bring it to the next meeting, that way, maybe we can discuss it at that time, if you wanna go over it, or bring it back to the next meeting, whatever you wanna do, but we'll bring hard
that might
copies
be,
to the next
yeah,
meeting.
cause I didn't see them.
Alright, do you wanna continue with
Please.
the new? Discussion and possible action regarding breeding permits.
We had already decided that there was gonna be a pause on breeding permits when, last time you were here, remember? That we were not gonna be issuing any more breeding permits?
Have we issued any?
We have one pending this year, and the last year we had 3. So it's not,
really,
it's not,
I think we remembered the discussion was.
it was
it's
with
a
Laredo Morning
non-issue.
Times, I think.
Our discussion was with Laredo Morning Times, I have it in my notes that,
Well, that was just gonna be a letter to them,
Yeah.
that they don't control the permits. I mean, I think the discussion, if I remember correctly, was, you know, I think there was an issue, I said, maybe there was a thought that more permits were being issued, you said only
Yeah.
2 have been given out the last 2 years. Unfortunately, state statute, if someone is a licensed breeder, we can't, you know, they can
That's state control.
operate as.
But you were gonna come up with a letter, you know, that way, you know, we could go ahead and just not, you know, asking them not to.
Right, but that's,
the recommendation.
That's the Laredo Morning Times, but I
Yeah.
think the directive that Ms. Bender was giving was that our department wouldn't give out any permits, to put a halt on the permits, and I think that's the discussion, I think that's what Ms. Gonzalez is.
And I think we should move forward with putting a halt. We don't need anybody breeding dogs. We have, how many do we have coming in? How many do we have now?
Yeah, we issue
500?
more citation for not having the permit than giving the permit. Yeah,
So, and then giving
we
them a
have
right
one
to do
permit
it.
this
Yeah.
year and 3 the last year, so
Yeah.
it's not a real
Yes.
number.
When was the one?
What do you matter, my
Yeah.
baby?
We're still pending with the check, we're still pending the approval of the one we have. This,
It was issued this Monday. Oh, actually, it was requested this Monday.
So 1 permit in the whole year.
Wow.
And we're finished with 2 months.
so basically, it's not,
It's
it's not a big issue. The
Yeah.
issue is that people are not getting permits.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Just need to advertise our permits. Does anybody have a motion or no? We just move on to the letter E? Yes?
Is it just a way of culture here, or like in Corpus or San Antonio, there's a lot more permits being approved?
I think the people doesn't really know that they need a permit.
Yeah.
So they can
It's
read.
not there's no awareness
Yeah,
of it.
they don't know.
We're not giving them out.
No, but there's only one side.
Education.
Yeah.
We're gonna do education.
Yeah, we need to focus on that instead of like,
And I can relate a little bit on that because even with us, with the cat colonies that we've been working with the neighbors, just the fact that they're afraid of animal control, you know? So we have to step in and say, no, we fix them for you, animal control will stay, you know, we'll respect that they're
Correct.
community cats, you know? So I guess it's our culture,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it must be.
yeah.
Next item?
Next item?
Okay. Discussion or possible action for shelter veterinary hours, weekly sterilization schedules, and estimate surgeries breakdown between cats and dogs for rescue and adoption. That was Ms.
Yes, that was me again. Well, I get asked to bring several dogs to the shelter. And, you know, I have a busy schedule, like everybody else. And so then later on, the doctor changes his hours. I've already got my day planned. Drop dogs off, pick dogs up. There's no set schedule. Like Linedecker. I'll be here from 9 until 12. Bring in your dogs. And we do it. Then they asked me to drop off the ones I had in my car because I had to go to South Laredo. I drop off those, bring in another dog. He didn't wait, he left. So it would be nice just to have a schedule of when he's there so that those pets that are being fostered outside the shelter can come in for their vaccines and their health certificates.
Do you have a response?
yeah, maybe because of the doctor not being under the contract, he decided that time that, I mean, he was a vendor at that time. Now that we have it as under a contract, we're gonna be like setting up a schedule.
Okay,
Great.
All
I'll
right,
promise to
good.
have that one next meeting.
good, good. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, Oh, and then the, under here falls again, the surgeries, and so I guess that
That's all part of it.
answers my question.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Okay, next item. Discussion or possible action regarding shelter vaccine protocol to ensure illness on rescue transport.
No illness on rescue transport. That was me again. And I'm sorry, because I am so involved in the transport and in the pulling of pets out of the shelter. There was parvo breakout on the transport heading to Buffalo when it departed last week. Not this Friday, not last Friday, the Friday before. And there was a lapse in the vaccinations. The dogs were vaccinated, like maybe some, 2 days before transport, where there is a greater risk of onset of parvo the first few days after the vaccine. So we're asking so that we don't lose more rescues, because it's happening, the protocol be followed. It's whatever you get, upon intake, they get a first vaccine, and then 2 to 3 weeks later, they get the second vaccine. Well, that's not always happening. And then we have parvo outbreaks, and then, they're up in arms, and we're trying to run interference. We don't want to lose them. We're contributing to the parvo fund, where we can be contributing to something in our own city. So we ask that the protocol, what is the protocol?
The protocol is a vaccination upon intake,
Uh-huh.
and 15 days later, the second dose.
Okay, so,
That's the protocol.
yes, so if we can please follow that protocol.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, you wanna go next to the old business? Are you good? Yes? Okay, letter A on old business, discussion and possible action in the Texas state statute regarding the animal care services responsibility in community sterilization. I think that was something that Ms.
I did, I brought it up.
Brought
Yes.
up in the next
Were you able to
meeting.
find out something?
No, ma'am, no, I think we're in accordance with what the law allows.
Well,
I think as so long as, I know you provide some article, but I think so long as we're not providing services, we're not a business, I think the only services we provide is either through the voucher program or to animals that are under the care and control of the Lorraine Animal Care Facility.
no, my question mainly was because I was just kind of, when I read that, and I'm gonna read it, and I quote, according to the state law, ACS cannot provide spay-neuter surgeries for people's pets.
Right, and we don't.
And we don't, but you are supposed to sponsor or to make accessible the mandatory spay and neuter clinics. We're supposed to. And that's our mission statement, to make accessible mandatory spay and neutering services.
Right.
Mandatory to
And
who?
I think Mr. Gonzalez can answer
It's,
that.
I'm just reading our mission statement.
Oh,
That's our mission statement.
What was the question?
Any spay neuter programs with the
Oh, yeah,
vouchers?
I'm just waiting for the Dr. Lopez and to give me the prices that the surgery is gonna cost. After that, we're gonna make the vouchers so we can start we're gonna be starting with the council members so they can decide who to give some of the vouchers. Hopefully maybe starting next month, we're gonna be starting with this spay neuter. And it's gonna last till October. We're planning to at least have the fiscal year covered month by month.
can I close that? So I heard that Best Friends Animal Alliance was at the shelter a couple of weeks ago. My- Society, I'm sorry. So many names, I'm going, and Maisa was there. She ran into them. So I took it upon myself, because we had discussed it here. I contacted them and I asked, please, access, we need funds. What can you do to help us? So they sent us a list of grants that we can apply for spay-neuter assistance so that the shelter can offer additional vouchers, XYZ. Perhaps those funds can be directed to maybe bringing on an additional team that you had mentioned, so that we have more availability. So I've done that with Best Friends, doing it with Animal Friends Alliance, and I'm gonna do it with a couple of other organizations. And then I asked Mr. Lundin if the city grant writers would take on the responsibility of writing those grants and applying for those grants. I'll find them. And
I
they
guess
can apply.
If I may, I did want to introduce Dr. Richard Chamberlain. He's our health director. City manager is doing a reorganization of the departments. And under me, he's already the health director. However, he has elevated Dr. Chamberlain in a capacity of it's like an executive director, but it's called managing director. He's directly under me. But we're tucking away animal care under health because of the statute that it falls under, and the library and the detox. So Dr. Chamberlain will help me work with these individual directors. And so I brought him here today because he will be working closely with animal care, and you'll still see me, I'm not going anywhere. But his department has a lot of administrative support that we can offer the animal care area, the department here. And so for now, this is the only change in the department and the city manager's structure, and he's shared it with the council already like a month ago, more or less, kind of where the city manager's going. And so this is the first area that he's looked at making some adjustments. And so Dr. Chamberlain will be more working closely with animal care on education, on grant writing and administrative support. Doctor, you want to expand?
Yeah, so just want to add a little bit more. Anything that you may need, you can definitely reach out to us at Laredo Public Health. Eventually, everything comes back into public health. Whatever realm we're in, whether it's in environmental or it's in water or it's in animal control, there's always some type of facet that links back to public health. So we want to continue to be the champion for increasing literacy in the community, as we know that the literacy is going to make a significant impact on being able to control populations, have happy homes for pets as well, and ultimately just drive that behavioral change that we work on personally for ourselves as humans, that happens also for our animals as well.
Thank you, Dr.
Right.
Now we want to move on to old items on letter C is discussion and possible action to return to owner fees to be able to be paid 100% with volunteer hours at shelter with a value of $12.50 per hour. I know y'all discussed that in another meeting, but I know that we were gonna continue to do a motion. Or, there you go.
So I did draft an ordinance for y'all to review, and I found a section in our code of ordinances under chapter 6, which deals with the animal shelter. That was already titled waiver of fees, and there's some situations there where fees can be waived. So I added essentially just subsection D to that section, which would allow for the paying off of shelter fees with community service, and you know, again, this is just the initial language. Might have to if you all have any suggestions or recommendations to the language, you know, we can take that into consideration. And this would be the ordinance that would be taken to city council, and it would be put for city council to vote on. And if it passes by a majority vote, then it would become a law in effect. So ordinances are required by our charter to go towards city council, and this would be an amendment to our code of ordinances, which would require going to city council.
mean, it looks fine.
I think so.
The motion is sent to council.
Oh, motion to send to council?
Send to council, sorry. yes,
Okay.
to approve this.
First by Ms. Bender, second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we get it on for
We can put it in intro for the deadline's Friday, so we should be able to get on for the March 18th meeting.
So the next city council meeting is March 18th, and the councilor just mentioned, city attorney just mentioned that this will go on as an intro.
Good, okay.
Who motioned first?
Ms. Bender,
Ms. Bender, second.
by David Garcia.
All right, moving forward to,
Well, we need to go back to, because you missed one.
which one?
You missed B.
Oh, yes, sorry. Moving back to B will be for old businesses, discussion and possible action regarding adoption fees, recommendations from the Animal Care Services staff.
Okay, I made an analysis on the.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's, I'm gonna read it for you.
Okay,
so we can
wonderful.
discuss after this. The introduction is, in recent weeks, the issue of animal adoption and welfare has gained significant attention. City shelters play a crucial role in rehoming animals and ensuring their well-being. One debate within this domain is whether charging adoption fees influences adoption rates and the quality of forever homes provided to animals. This study aims to analyze adoption trends at our city shelter and assess the potential impact of implementing adoption fees. The adoption trends. Using data collected by PetPoint system, we analyze adoption statistics over the past 3 years, the 22 to 24. In 2022, a total of 439 animals, dogs and cats combined, were adopted from the shelter with an average of 9 adoptions per week. The following year, 2023, saw an increase in adoptions with 713 animals adopted, an average of 14 adoptions per week. Notably, in 2024, adoption numbers continue to rise, reaching 157 animals with an average, that's a wrong number, an average of 19 adoptions per week, 19. The analysis. The upward trend in adoption rates reflects a positive effort of our live release staff and the effectiveness of our adoption promotion strategies. It indicates an increasing willingness among the community to provide loving homes to shelter animals. Notably, the absence of returns due to cruelty or neglect underscores the success of our adoption screening processes and the commitment of adopters. The implications of charging adoption fees are, while some argue that charging adoption fees foster a sense of responsibility in adopters, our analysis suggests otherwise. The negligibly return rate due to cruelty or neglect indicates that adopters are already committed to caring for their pets. Moreover, the returns primarily stem from reasons such as inability to continue housing the animal rather than neglect or lack of responsibility. The conclusion is, based on our analysis, implementing adoption fees may not justify as a means to promote responsible pet ownership or deter impulsive adoptions. Instead, it could potentially discourage individuals from adopting animals from the shelter, thereby hindering our mission to find loving forever homes for our animals. The recommendations are, as a shelter, we should focus on enhancing our efforts to promote responsible pet ownership through educations and support services by providing resources such as training, counseling, and assistance with housing policies. We can better ensure that adopted animals thrive in their new homes. Additionally, exploring innovative adoption promotions strategies such as partnerships with local businesses and community events can further boost adoption rates without resorting to adoption fees.
So what are your return rates?
10?
10%, 10 a
No,
month?
10 animals. I mean,
A year.
10 around a year.
year.
What about,
But it's for, like I said, it's maybe some of the personnel, the apartments doesn't allow the animals.
Yeah, it changes the policy.
Yeah, but
That's
not-
so
we
the
don't-
returns, or when they have grown in a family, or the lady's situation. Health issue is one of them. Obviously, the department changing, or the area they changed doesn't allow pets anymore, but usually we only have like 10 returns. Yes, we do have a challenge on the spay and neuter of them, especially those that are as puppies, but there is, adopters that we've come in and we've seen their progress, and a lot of them come, dazzled up, and they're very taken care of well by adopters. We do screen them very well. We have, we talk to them, and if there's any red flags, we do try to, or fit the dog for the family's activities.
I have to run, I'm sorry.
So in essence, I stand by as management, I stand by the director's recommendation that we don't want to add another layer of fees to discourage any adoptions. We're trying to get the dogs out and the cats out. And so our recommendation
Good to see you.
is to keep, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
To
Thank you.
keep the
Thank you.
fees out.
I'll follow up the bylaws.
Okay, so that's that's how we feel as staff. And so we appreciate the interest from the committee to try to go into adding some fees, but we're not in agreement with that.
But they're going out there sterilized.
At the moment, we do have most of the adults do go, if they're of age. If they're under 4 months, we do give them the next available appointment for them to get sterilized.
And who follows up on that? That they come
we do.
back?
Yes, we do, and then a
And if
lot
they
of,
don't,
we do send an officer out there in case the adopter is not responsive, but we have great adopters that the communication is back and forth. We've never had any issues. I know that in the past there's been different situations, but since, coming in from now to moving forward, we try to put as many as our adoptions right away. In case for whatever reason, if they're sick and the doctor doesn't recommend surgery at the moment, we do follow up with them to get sterilized after.
what about cats? Because cats can be spayed or neutered as long as they're 2-3 pounds.
Cats, yes, they're also
They're all going out.
They're all going. Most of them are going out spay and neuter. Like I said, if they are underage, it's up to the doctor. If depending on his recommendation on how old the cat can be not sterilized.
But as a shelter, I believe that the pounds, as long as they reach 2 to 3 pounds, considering the problem that we have with the overpopulation, that they can get spayed and neutered.
That answer would be for the doctor, because in reality, it's not. We follow with he gets his license under the shelter, so the recommendations of the doctor will be.
Because
the ones
if you go to a private practice, definitely they will not spay and neuter your dog or your cat until of age. But as a shelter, I believe that you can definitely cut down on that, and considering the overpopulation, especially with cats, that they reproduce every 3-4 months.
Yes.
And because if the cat escapes because they left the door open, there we go.
Of course, we understand.
Yeah, that's my concern again. Sterilization is
The
key.
policy is that we will do it before we release it unless they're not young enough, or they're not old enough, and then we'll bring them back, the ones that we have. And so ultimately, that's what we're gonna try to solve whatever we can. It's under our control. Is there something I missed
No,
with that statement?
no.
I do have a question. Like, for example, when we pull animals out for a rescue, and we see that the intake was like 4 months ago, and they're placed for adoption already, why are they not sterilized?
because the demand is very high. So what we're doing is we're sterilizing those that are leaving an adoption, prioritizing those versus the ones that are still there and not having any interest. As for rescue, we don't unless requested by the rescue. But for adoption, it is part of the adopter's packet that they have to be sterilized at the point of age. I have reached out to Operation Kindness, which they have a travel team that comes in. They don't do shelter community pets, but I'm working with them to come and do our shelter pets to have at least a lot more ready to go sterilized.
We did lose a quorum, so there's
Yeah.
no more action that could be taken, and I think we did cover the agenda. And I guess if you all have any additional items that you want for the next agenda, please communicate. Want to congratulate Veronica. Ms. Gamboa has been accepted a position in another department. And so as much as it's sad to see her leave, it's great to see you grow into another role. I'm sorry that I made an announcement.
No, it's okay.
I didn't even ask you if I could say it,
It's okay.
but I did because I'm proud of her. And I thank her for the work that she's done here in this department. Again, we're still rebuilding, and one of our biggest obstacles was communication, and I'm happy to see that we're communicating.
Big change, big change.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So I don't think we have a quorum to adjourn the meeting, but we will start the meeting now since I think he left at 1:25.
Yeah.